A huge shout out to the overthinkers.
An overthinker. He watches the show.
To the overthinkers, shout out Bafana.
All about Fetu, this is Parker, yeah? Thank you, overthinkers.
Keep inspiring the next generation.
Shout out to the overthinkers. Thando kuphela. Much love.
To my overthinkers, mamela ubuchopho ngeke buphume buyakhula nizinja nikhokho yazini as overthink siya overachieve.
I'm stealing that. I've stolen that one. I've stolen it.
As overthinking, say overachiever, man. That is what Coach Shorty had to say about this. Not to be said about one team that is underachieving right now, and that is what we're going to speak about today. Guys, welcome to the Overthinking Football Show. My name is George Mokwena. I am your host. This, of course, is the Overthinking Football Show, a place where we speak about local football, we speak about African football, and we go overseas into Europe. It's a very interactive show for those who are joining me for the first time. So if you're joining me for the first time, the point of the show is to speak to you guys. You can join and add your voice to the show by clicking on the button at the bottom of the screen that says multi-guest. Click on it, I let you in, and you tell me a little bit about what you're thinking of what you are seeing and the topic that we're discussing. Obviously, guys, the big news from this weekend is Mamelodi Sundowns getting knocked out by Stellenbosch. And it just proves that, you could have an experienced coach.
Who cares?
You could come in and go almost invincible the season before.
Who cares?
You can be a CAF Champions League semi-finalist and an AFL winner.
Who cares?
End of the day.
What does that matter?
Okay, guys, no, seriously. Guys, we're gonna speak about. So, I've spoken to my Sundowns delegation in the Overthinking Football WhatsApp group. I've spoken to the delegation. They asked that today, can we please let them grieve, let them have some therapy, and we'll speak about Pirates tomorrow. So I'm going to oblige them and speak about Mamelodi Sundowns' game that they played versus Stellenbosch, and then also, what does the future hold for this man that is in charge right now? Where does he go with this? Now, for those who don't know, Mamelodi Sundowns got knocked out by Stellenbosch FC from EM108. They played at Moses Mabhida. Stellenbosch won the away leg 1-0, won the away leg 1-0, won the home game 1-0. And all in all, 2-0 win going into the final of the MTN8 versus the Orlando Pirates. If we look at the stats, Stellies at 11 shots, 5 on target. Sundowns at 18 shots, 4 on target, and 76% of the possession. Stellies only completed 177 passes versus Mamelodi Sundowns 567. Now, I'm going to be serious for a little bit. I did a video a couple of weeks ago speaking about how this season was going to be very important. And it was going to be very important because Umangoba is the last of a line. So if you look at Mamelodi Sundowns up to this point, it has been him, it was Rulani, it was Pitso. It was 10, 12, 15 years of a Mamelodi Sundowns cycle. Now they've brought in people like Fleming Beg, they've brought in other people in the background, and I think Sundowns is trying to move in another direction, but they're still sitting at a crossroads. Why is this important when you look at what Sundowns is doing now? Rulani was taken out. Rulani was fired, or they parted ways, or however you guys want to put it, and it was very sudden, it was very late. And I don't think they were able to go out and get a proper coach to come in, or the coach that they would want for the future. I think Umangoba stepped in as Kevin Johnson stepped in, as Mandla Ngigazi stepped in at some point, and now he's facing a team. And again, the crossroads is very important also because Rulani was a specific type of coach. He wrote love letters, man. He was speaking to the players. He was doing all of that stuff. Some of this may just come down to the relationship that Sundowns has with Mangoba, on top of the fact that he has to go in and maybe institute a new style of play. So that's going to be very important going forward. And the big question that we need to speak about today, honestly speaking, is can Mangoba fix this? How does he fix this? And will he be given time? 2 losses. Now, you're going to go into the CAF Champions League. It shouldn't be a problem, the qualifiers there. What happens when the league starts? What type of rope does he have? What type of control does he have? And more importantly, How do you guys, Mamelodi Sundowns fans, fans of football, how do we view Mangoba? Is he the guy that will take Mamelodi Sundowns forward? Or is he just Manutsweri for now? He needs to see out the year and they'll get somebody else in. That's going to be very interesting. And also, what happens if Mangoba leaves? Will you guys accept for the first time in a very long time and a coach from overseas? You know, who knows? Anyway, let me get in, guys. Let me get in. I don't want to speak too much today. Guys, let's tap the screen. Let's try get to 20,000 likes. So tap the screen, 20,000 likes. Tomorrow we'll tackle Orlando Pirates. We'll tackle Orlando Pirates, seeing that we are in an international week. So we're going to start off with just your thoughts, guys, about the game and how you feel. Then we'll tackle some of the bigger questions that we have of Mamelodi Sundowns. Agent, my brother, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Kubo, I'm here, my brother. I can't run away from my problems. Eh?
You are requested.
By popular demand.
By popular demand.
A lady with a fate behind cannot run away from his fate behind. So I must be here. Sham, to take care of my fate behind.
Agent, let's get into it. I'm going to start us off in the first round and ask you, what are your thoughts about the game that you guys played over the weekend?
No, man. I just wanted to say thank you for listening to my suggestion, because I think, I just want to say thank you on that. Let's start on the good ones. And you've made it a bit interesting for me, because now I have to tackle the kind of the tactics, but I wanted to tackle also the big problems, but I think again
we'll get there.
I'll get there on the second round. But on the tactic side of it, first things first, I'll mention this point again in the second round, that you as the coach, you are saying the players are not showing up.
Yeah.
Right? If you as the coach are saying the players are not showing up, you must deliver a handwritten love letter like Gordon would. Show a strong statement and say, guys, you know people who didn't show up, Kekana, you didn't show up. Olibusa, you didn't show up. Mashego, you didn't show up. Mdao. So all of you guys, I'm changing. Sundowns has a good enough depth to field 11 new players, And again, as the coach, you should believe in your tactics, right? Right or wrong, Hugo Bruce believes in his tactics. Some don't like it, some like it. It's neither here or there. Yeah. If you believe that the way I want to play, Zwane does not fit in, right? Then why play Zwane? Because we saw even yesterday, yes, you played Zwane. Was it because of media pressure? Because with Uzwani, we didn't see his impact. We didn't see, I don't even remember thinking that he's on the pitch, And I think, unlike others, I think it is a bit, like I said, he's a bit of a wise head. I don't think it's a case of he doesn't want to pitch up. I think the game is a bit too fast for him. The tactics are not accommodating him.
Yeah.
So as a coach, you have to say, coach, I want to stick with Umudibe because he's a bit quicker in the middle there, And again, use like so says, is a game of questions and answers. Stellis asked us a question defensive wise of, is Libusa and Grant a good partnership? Can they play together? And the question was no. So how do you respond to that question? They say in English that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Yeah.
So that was insanity, to play the two of them again. And we saw that Grant Kekan had to commit a foul, a penalty, to cover Ulibusa, and it could have been 2 penalties. Like I said, I still haven't seen the other one. It could have been 2 penalties in slow motion again, Okay. And Mujela does the same things over and over again in the same lineup. It has to take you, the second lineup, more than 100 and something minutes to check that partnership, And then again...
Can I just ask something, Agent? Yeah. Can I just ask something there? So how then does Mangoba balance it? That if I come in and I use, let's say I default to some of Rulani's tactics, how do you view me as somebody coming in, number one, and trying to stamp my authority and not living in Rulani's shadow? And then at what point do you say, wait a king, let me, I'm going to stick, let me be stubborn and stick with what I want to bring in, similar to how Rulani was stubborn, for example. I'm just using examples. How does he balance that? Because he's also coming into a very weird situation.
I think I can answer your question in a second, because I think first I'm talking about the personnel right now. And this is squarely on Umangoba. It has nothing to do with tactics and whatnot. We can go back to that. With Ole Tlaku, he has no game experience, has nothing, and this is a high intensity game. You would rather not play a player like Umaran, who we saw his impact. He's well experienced. You're putting a young player there. Are you not destroying him? And with the level of experience that you have, are you not setting up him up for failure? You have Okoba Melo Gudisang, who is a very much experienced player who is coming from abroad. So if you want to achieve something, you can bring him there, And to be fair and honest, I think Matthews played well. That is on the personnel. But to answer your question quickly, I think you said you answered yourself with some videos. People should watch them. They're very interesting videos. You can't change everything overnight. You have to make it gradually, So even if you want to implement your system, it's gonna take time for a system for players to get used to it, And this is a game. It's a, what is it called? I don't want to say it's a preseason cup. It's not. It's a real cup. We wanted to win this cup. I don't want to demean it, but it's a beginning of the season cup. So. With the type of play that you want, which is high intensity, high everything, and the players are going from low intensity, you want them to play high intensity. You have to build that endurance first, and you can only build such kind of endurance in the league. So in cups, you default to what the players know, so that during the progression, maybe the later cups, your net banks and everything, that's when you can play your style of play, because by that time they would have more legs, more whatever in the legs, and they can adapt to the high intensity. And I think lastly, no, it's fine. I think I forgot the point there. Just okay.
Let me before I bring in Ukumo, guys, Tabang, Chakaranda, Willie, and Tammy, I've noted you just so that you know that there will be another panel. I'll let you guys in. So I've noted you guys there. Tata Scream, guys. Tata Scream, Ukraine gets 20,000. Kumo, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
I guess discover debit order for via no so. But anyway,
the MTN8 debit order, it's on my like a weekend. Hey, just a lot, man. Kumo, what did you think about the game?
Corey Sundowns has no excuse to play like that, especially got two legs, We can't say Mangoba is transitioning, especially he's been there for like how many years. He's been through 2 coaches, and he was essentially in their style of play. So he knows how Pitso played, he knows how Rulani played. He even got a chance to lead Sundowns at some point. Now we were asking ourselves, so why, man? Bimane once Arjage Pirate, like Bamudimo, like Bafaro, Rulani, mental. You see why? And this thing already plays as sabotaging him. It doesn't make sense. As a coach, you are not supposed to lose the dressing room. And what's if you don't win a cup, you can't share bonuses. I was so disappointed, but then again, I have to give kudos to Stellenbosch. I'm so sad. Like, happen next to be playing Club World Cup or Dallas against Madrid. Listen, America. So the other thing happened, my brother. Stellenbosch, it gets a low block so perfectly because they were quick with transitioning. They defended as a unity. They were quick to train a pressure as one. So, and we still have no answers to low block. This time, but then again, I don't want to say like Mangoba can transition to what, guys. No one honest. Bonabo honest Lord. Honest Lord. Liverpool. He's been in charge of 3 games. Ashina concede. And as Carla Killer, he had the same amount of time to prepare. Right? if for Bozwane about Berekele, it's like this guy Gishok and I can twin and Gabena account like Baragamangela Q boy. I read to one because of like Nerokule Tembas one. Like imagine Sundowns crying for an old man like Tembas one. Kesta, yes, Mara, he's old. When are you gonna have people that can take over his role? So this guy kile boss Dave. We are media. Here is Tembas one wire le.
Mara kopa go botsa Kumo. Rulani got 7 months to be a head coach, if I'm not mistaken. 7 months, and then he got to go to preseason and install his ideas, and then he got to the second. Then he started playing chameleon last season. Aren't we then also not being fair to Mangoba that he's not being given that time? Well, he's not being given that time to transition. I mean, Rulani, it took 7 months, and maybe the fault of Mangoba is that he's stubborn. I can accept that. Mara, turnaround time.
Wawana Sundowns were spoiled. Spoiled. Baragamang Rulani. Okay, irregular fair. Let me put emotions aside.
Yeah.
Na Rulani ba matter go with that. Na wina di preseason. No shidia mohela. Always go preseason. Continue no go with that. These guys didn't know. But to say what response is because of we are so used to winning. Yeah. Give us 3 games, give us 4 months. That's natural mentality. But I
get chips that's our mentality, please.
Build, I can't tell Eiffel Tower or Burj Khalifa. You've been building.
Raha factory chips, the man Kumo.
I want to get the league show, get same size Eiffel Tower. Kenning, little build. Like, on tour, my brother, these guys are getting paid a lot of money to be a coach, go Sundowns. So I get to get decision. Let me like he's got the help book about foreclosure about Steve Compel. Atamele, na buy Lamont Golden Erosi. Kukula mam kizunyaka coach na cheaper no pela change. Atamai, because this guy bila or moving rule a trot na reason and net trot.
Yeah.
My point got this guy, Anna excuse for Twayet. Like agent said, we've got so many players. And what's part? Okay, so sales. See, okay, I got okay. Go recruit a read here.
Yeah.
Kopala dimane. Our next question is clear. And Moody is a chimita gabar. Opozoka ambulance. Opozoka ambulance. And the guy evolved to give everything sharp.
What time? Let me go to Buyo. Welcome to the show. How are you, my brother?
Thank you for the opportunity. I'm good. I'm not worried about my team.
No, inda babu team yako. How did you see the game?
I'm very disappointed with Mangoba. Mangoba has been there at Sundowns more than 10 years. What are you changing? I repeat this thing, OT. I never saw a team that is coached by the same team. They are not thinking the same thing. You're thinking different. What is the main reason? Sundowns, since I know Sundowns, they play piano and shine for the lifetime. You want to change? What do you want to play? Helicopter football? No. This thing is off.
Yeah.
This thing is off. There is no way. If these players, they disrespect Mangoba, how many players do you have per position? Per position. 3 players, 4 players. Take them all out and put the players that they want to play in your system. Because with or without, you need to win. If someone doesn't play for you, put someone else. I'm very disappointed. You want to play the season with Libusa? I know. Come on. I would rather put khoza there, a young boy. Khoza. I would rather put a youngster so that I lose and then I will say I still learning. But the Libusa is very slow. There's nothing that he can give Sundowns anymore. I'm very shocked even if he's still a Sundowns player. So I'm not happy.
So where can I ask you? So I want to ask you. I want to ask you the same question I asked Agent Nkumo. How do you balance it then? Because if I'm a new coach or quote unquote I'm stepping into the reins again, I want to stamp my authority I need to do my own things, but I leave out Zwane the first game, everybody goes crazy. I bring him back, people are then asking or take out the. How does he balance that for himself? Must he carry on being stubborn, or must he, maybe revert back to the diamond?
Go back to the tactics of Sundowns, how they play. Because of these things of yours, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. He knows very well who to put, who not to put. So there's nothing that he must do, what he's think, which is stubborn. What I'm disappointed with OT is also the assistant coach are useless.
Yeah.
Are useless, the assistant coach of South African football, because of they are not in the same page. You can't be assistant, not you. What is your job as an assistant? Rulani he made himself a god of football after Mangoba was they take Mangoba down. But Rulani was the co-coach with Mangoba. But he failed to put his tactics with Mangoba so that they can build a beautiful team. Look at Chelsea, how they play. The coach that coached Chelsea was the former Manchester City assistant coach. Look at Arsenal, how they play. Arteta was the former assistant coach of Pep Guardiola. It's not similar, OT.
But it took Arteta 4 years.
No, 4 years. No, OT, be honest. Even the first season, Arteta, the football that he played is the football that Pep Guardiola is playing.
But the results were not there.
You see my
not
point?
getting the results with his new football.
The results are not. What I'm trying to say, OT, it's not always about the result. We are saying me and OT, we are the same page now. If we are not, you're thinking about helicopter football. Me, I'm thinking about tiki taka. Those things are too different.
Yeah.
So all of the coaches in South Africa, the assistant coach, they are my haters like back behind. But something else. They are not in the same page. I wish Doran Shepard was the coach. Maybe he was going to coach Kaizer Chiefs in a different way.
Okay. No, Vuyo, for time's sake, let me bring in ASAP Shambe. ASAP!
Utsini, Mr. Utsi.
Hi, man. Hey, it's a therapy session, man. ASAP, tell me, how did you see the game from this weekend?
No, asibonga mfethu for the weekly therapy check-in. Sayidinga ngempela lento zamasandawana. Otsi, man, there's a part of me that's genuinely asking myself regarding the style of play that Mangoba wants to adopt now. Utsi, how much of this is his own thoughts, and how much of this is coming from Ufleming. Because a couple of years ago, I'm a coach. Mangoba was once asked regarding about the slow build-up and the positional play, and his response was something along the lines of South African players are a bit careless with turnovers, and positional play and slow build-ups helps us protect the ball and decrease those turnovers. So philosophy seems to be the complete opposite now, where he wants us to rush going forward, where he wants those speedy box entries and the helicopter that we're seeing. So ngiyazbuza ukuthi when did the shift happen? When did the sudden change in philosophy happen for him? Because he seems to be someone who once believed in keeping the ball. He seems to be someone who once believed in the style of play. So angazi if pressure mhlambe nayo ayizwayo from uFleming, angazi if pressure ayizwayo from Abutloki, because it doesn't make any sense. Because this is not even if you're coming in as a new coach, they're hiring you because you're going to complement the style of play as believer in the team that the team believes in. Yeah. So ngeke ulanda umuntu ongadlali style of play the team is fundamentally rooted in. And Mangoba seems to be going in the complete direct opposite direction regarding that. So I'm finding myself
So then, again, I'm just going to ask the same question. How much of this is a must? How much of it is that you have to step in and stamp your authority? Rulani came in, stamped his authority, updated the way Shushan and Piano looks, called it chameleon, but he stamped his authority. How much of that is this case, that Mangoba maybe has to prove to everybody that, guys, I'm not just the guy who was sitting at Benchini as the assistant coach. I'm now the head coach, and the team must go how I go. How much of that is maybe that type of ego? And do you blame him for in the situation that he's in right now?
Yeah, probably there is a bit of ego that's giving him a hard-headedness. Because, I mean, look, man, look, football, yes, it's about tactics, but there is there's a psychological aspect of it where you have to get us to buy into your philosophy, and we're not going to buy into your style of play overnight. So, and uManqoba Kusintwana, he's got life skills, he's got life experience to know when you bring change, you need to do it over time, and you need to do it drastically. You can't just bring change drastically and expect things to go smoothly. But maybe he's also taking the gamble, which it's only the MTN8. We've never done really well in it, so we still do have time. Because now Guma press conference is busy backing it up and saying he doesn't know why Sundowns always start slow. So in his mind, he doesn't see any alarms. There's no red flags, but to him, this is how things go at Sundowns. So there's a clear disconnect between how we, the audience and the fans, see the stage that we're in and the way he's seeing things. Or maybe he's just trying to calm things down to not make everyone overreact. But there's a clear disconnect. And maybe he's delusional now. There's also, I'm leaving room for that. So we'll see there's a delusion that's happening there.
Hey, all I'm saying is that from experience, when you start speaking in conferences like this, it's not very long. It's not very long.
It's not good.
Let me go to TC. TC, welcome to the show. Long time, long see, my brother.
Hey, Bob, how are you?
I'm good at you, my brother.
No, I'm good, man. I've just been busy with life things. That's why I haven't seen you in a while. But yeah,
no,
it's good to be
back.
back, even though. Yeah, it's good to be back, even though the circumstances are not the best of,
Guys, it's only 3 games. We've been crying for 10 years. But anyway, TC, how do you feel about this game that you played with the Stellenbosch yesterday?
Yeah, look, first of all, I have to say congratulations to Stellenbosch. I think they were fantastic. They deserve to win more than anything. They outplayed Sundowns in both legs. They outworked Sundowns, especially yesterday in the first half. That high press in the midfield did not allow Allende and mokwena to do what they do best.
Yeah.
Also, the pressure that Uli, Boos and Grant were under throughout, especially the first half. They were under a lot of pressure throughout that first half. I think Stellenbosch were great. They were fantastic, and congrats to them. All the best to them. From a Sundowns perspective, Sundowns is probably the one club in South Africa that has a core philosophy that everybody knows about. You mentioned it already, Shoeshine and beyond. It's always been there. It's been there since the 80s. And every time Sundowns have been successful, they've played some form of variation of a Shoeshine and piano type of football. Possession-based football, good football, attacking football. Nowadays, the last 3 games, we have not played that. For some reason, we look to be more faster with the ball, more direct. Helicopters, goalkeepers now kicking off straight. When last did you see Sundowns do that? We used to Sundowns playing out from the back, 1-2 passes, trying to beat the first press, get into midfield, try to beat that second press. But now we're just kicking it upfield, hoofing it. It's rare to see that at Sundowns. Very, very rare. And I'm very disappointed in what I've seen this weekend, especially, and on Wednesday, and even against Polokwane. It's been extremely disappointing. I don't know why the coach is doing this, but I think the speaker before me did mention that maybe it's not just him, but it's also a management decision. Remember when they parted ways with Rulani? There was a story that the SD didn't like the style of play. He was saying it's too slow, it's too many passes, he doesn't like it, he wants a more direct approach. But then history will tell us Sundowns have never been a club that's successful with direct approach. We've never been. Like, even this new guy, the starting 11 in itself, pretty flawed in some ways. Up front, you've got Salih, you've got
salesman.
Yeah, he's playing up front. Now, I remember maybe because I've been a Sundowns supporter for as long as I can remember. I've never remembered Sundowns succeeding with a target man up front.
Yeah.
We tried them. We tried Mamenyang in Pitso's era. We tried Jeremy Brocky, Pitso's era. We tried, there was a guy there, Alfonso, I think he was from Uruguay. I think he scored in one of the Telkom games. We tried him, didn't really work. Pablo Franco recently, we tried him, didn't work. So we've never succeeded with a big guy target man up front. We've always had the mobile strikers. You've got Peter Shalulile, who's probably at the level of Daniel Mambush-Mudau in terms of goal scoring records for Sundowns.
Yeah,
you put him on
even
the bench.
way better.
You put him on the bench in a semi-final. And if I'm not mistaken, Peter Shalulile has been a thorn in Stellenbosch's side for a very long time since he's been at Sundowns. We put him on the bench for a guy we don't know how he looks, how he plays, and for a guy who, by all calculations, does not suit our game. Ironically enough, before the game ended, the last 20 minutes or 10 minutes, Sundowns started to become more dominant because Stellenbosch was sitting back.
Yeah.
Sailes dropped into sort of an 8 or a 10 position, and he looked way better than he did the whole game. He looked so good. I was like, he can actually play. But the whole time he was playing up front, you couldn't see what he was doing. He was looking good, combining well with Kodisang, combining well with Lucas Ribeiro. And there was a few chances that we managed to create in the last 10, but it was too late. By that time, the game was gone. So it shows you that whatever the SD, alongside this coach, what they're trying to do, it's not going to work. And if they don't fix it soon, the SD might have to get rid of him, because remember, he got rid of a coach who lost one league game last season. He got rid of a coach who was in the CAF Champions League semi-final last season, who won the AFL last season, who was in 2 domestic cup finals, losing one on penalties, one with a last-minute goal last season. You got rid of a guy who achieved all of that with a record set amount of points in the PSL. So if this guy loses 3 games in the PSL, actually 2, he should be going, because that's the standard that we set. The president's management set was, if you lose 1 game, you're out.
Yeah.
So if he loses 2...
But can I ask though, is this not just teething problems? Is this not just, maybe because Sundowns hasn't had something like this for 15 years almost? Is it just not that you've got an SD who's come in, he's 2 years into his role. You've got a coach maybe who in concert with the TD wanted to change how football would play, how they'll play the football. Is it not just teething problems? And then the question becomes, after this, what happens? There's no longer a Rulani on the bench. There's no longer a Mangoba on the bench. I don't think Pitso will ever come back to Sundowns. Now you have to forge a new path.
Yeah, I think you're right. The element of teething problems is there, because this is a completely new, seemingly new style of play. It's very far away from what we were doing the seasons prior. And it's not working, but it can still work. Obviously, we still need more competitive games. We've got only played 3 competitive games so far. So there's still some time to change it. As much as people like myself are frustrated with what we see because of the bigger problems at the club, not just on the field, but also the issues away from the field. But it can change. If it's teething problems and Sundowns start doing well with this system, great. If not, the SD will probably, if he doesn't get fired, the SD, he will obviously fire the coaches, the technical team. Chances are Roman Falls will come in, or we're going to go back to the Sundowns of your 2008 to about 2012, where we had an obsession with European coaches, with the background of coaching at Barcelona or a background of coaching in Holland, because we want that type of system to be implemented here. We're going to probably go back to that. Or Fleming will go to a Brazilian coach that we know, since he's very obsessed with South American people, he'll probably go to South America and bring someone from that side. So it's one of those things.
Let me bring in Hansa. Hansa, welcome to the show. How are you? Hansa.
Hello, Mr. Oti. Kunjani bafu?
Hi, man. Gimnandi, man. Pransel, tell me. We want to
you know, Mr. Oti, this game here, Sundowns, it showed Umangoba, the strategy that is trying to implement, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work, because checking from the line up and checking from how Steve Barker assembled his team, it was showing Steve Barker have read Mangoba's mind. Ne? Why am I saying this? If you check in front, he had Titus, he had De Jong, and he had Mujela. Those are fast-paced players. You understand? And he knows, okay, whenever there's a ball that is going up front from the Sundown side, and then Mudau and Mudiba, they are going to overlap. So it leaves Libusa and the other defender and Mokwena behind, right? And mostly Mokwena is a box-to-box. He moves from the back, and then you'll find him at the center. Sometimes you'll find, okay, it's a 3v2 or 3v3, right? On top of that, if you check, Libusa speed cannot match Mujela or Titus speed. The only slow person there is Dijon. So now looking at that, you will see, okay, now Steve Barker, umboni lokuthi hayi man, lo muntu into afuna ukuyidlala angeke idlaleke. So ngcono ngisebenzise ispace behind ama defenders out because they are very slow. So that's why if udlala i1 route 1, you kick the ball and then the players, the two the wing backs overlaps, ushia space a move, and then when you have fast attacking players. So the game was very funny, but it was nice to watch all in all. And then and I think the other things that ama coaches born this season is that a lot of teams that have played so far, they are showing they are not just gonna sit back and let another team play. They are gonna attack you. If you check Plukwane, they were attacking. If you check this one, Super Sport against Pirates, they were very fast. If you check Cape Town City against Pirates, they were very fast also. So teams this season, they are out to play. They are not there to just watch the ball, park the bus and just be there and be counted. They are there to compete. So I'm very happy. I'm very excited for the season. I can't wait.
So then can I ask you, should Mangoba still be, how do I put it? Should he still be stubborn and say, you know what, we're losing now, but I'm installing something new. Let's be patient and it will come right. Should he still do that, or should he go back now to maybe Rulani's way of play or Pitso's way of play?
The thing with Mangoba, I think he's being arrogant for nothing. You must plan for occasions. You must know when and where, right? If you want to plan for CAF, plan for CAF. If you want to plan for MTN, plan for MTN, then plan for the league. And you must also watch what kind of a team you are playing against. Profile the team. You have a profile of your players, and then use the correct players for the correct game. You must read, okay, now because I'm playing Stellenbosch, instead of using Libusa, let me use someone who's very fast. You understand? Yeah. If I'm playing this kind of team and I want to play this kind of style, then let me use the correct players. Plan for the occasion, plan for the team. And then the style that this thing he wants to, and also if you check, most of the time when the game is playing, you'll be sitting down. As a coach, you're supposed to act as an analyst during the game. See where they are troubling you, and then you stand up, you tell your players, okay, you understand? Because these days, coaches, they don't want to make quick substitutions. They wait until 60 or 70 minutes, right? Since you don't want to do that, at least analyze the game and then tell your players, okay, we planned like this, but the game, the way it's going, is going like this. Can you try and at least shift so that you can at least see Yeah, I think he's being stubborn.
For time, I just have to jump in there. I'm going to come back for one last round before letting everybody else in. Guys, touch a screen, man. Tap the screen. Let's try to get as many as we can. Let's get to 25,000. It's free. Just tap the screen. Let me go to, before I go to agent, I think what's happening at Mamelodi Sundowns is very interesting because I feel like there's a lot of things coming together at the same time. Okay? I feel like there's a lot of things coming together at the same time. Rulani left. He's got relationships with these players. Mangoba comes in. He's changing the style of play. Mamelodi Sundowns as a whole is starting to scout differently. Scouts are leaving. Team members are leaving. Coaches are leaving. All of these people are leaving, right? So I think the other thing that we have to take into consideration here is where is Sundowns right now? And how do all of these factors influence each other? But one that I want to stick on, agent, I want to ask you about Coach Mangoba and the players. What's the relationship, do you think, with these players? Do you think that he can repair something if there's something wrong? And then how much do we put on the players and maybe even the SD?
That's a loaded question. That's a loaded question.
If yes, if no.
We'll answer it. We'll answer it, and hopefully we'll answer it the best we could. Because I think, in terms of trouble, it's easy to say, I'm a root you are a jesabade. I kumolo and a man or bola man. I put and I fuck off money. It's easy to point fingers. So we need to get. It's easy to point fingers. Oh, sorry, did I say? Oh, sorry, I forgot I'm
Yeah,
on the live.
man.
Sorry, Manish. But it's just an example. I'm saying a boutique just like that, but how? But anyways, but we need to introspect and look at things from a deeper angle, But let's start with the players. I think what the players are doing is very amateurish, is very wrong. And I think first round I discussed the coach and all his mistakes, but imagine a professional player saying that he doesn't like a coach, so he's gonna down his tools. It's like you're in a job and there's a new CEO and I love that old CEO. I'm not doing any job anymore. I'm just gonna do skate work. That's very wrong and very amateurish, and the players have to be judged harshly and very harshly so. Now, I think people will go back to the players. I think the player question, I'll leave it to people to answer it more deep. But I wanted to say this, that we need to look at what is the problem. What led us to being here? Like a wise man said, if I had an hour to solve a problem, I'll spend 50 minutes just trying to understand what the problem is, and then 5 minutes or 10 minutes looking for the solution, right? Now, just a quick rewind, a minute of quick rewind. Firstly, let's remember when things started to become haywire. It's for two reasons, right? The first reason is we get in a TD, right? Now, when you get in a TD or SD, first things first, we try this co-coaching thing. And it's like, guys, we need someone who's going to be held responsible when the results go wrong, And I feel like that was the first mistake. I feel like those guys, co-coaching, they were balancing each other, You couldn't see the worst of Rulani. You also couldn't see the worst of Mangoba, because technically, Rulani is superior, but PR-wise, he's very poor. We saw at Pirates, it was the same thing. Technically, they were playing good football, but when it comes to PR, it's another thing. But I think they were balancing each other. The moment they broke that yin and yang, it was the start of problems, right? And then becomes the Rulani era. Now, with the Rulani era, people forget that he got rid of legends and under all the development sides, and he started to bring his so-called friends, and people joke that he wanted to make it, what is it called? What is Black Poison?
Black Poison.
Sundowns.
Yeah.
And at that time I was like, you need those legends, because those are the people who will support you at the management, And it's the jab that Mangoba said that I'm not going to bring my friends, right? And then we saw that with the more power that this guy got, the more arrogant he became, and like the words say, power corrupts, the best of hearts, the best of minds, the same way wine does. Now, what he did is he started to get rid of other people, pushed others away, and brought his friends. And again, he brought in players that he likes, and that disadvantages the players that were genuinely deserving, like Abo Sereno in bringing Abo Lodge, which we didn't need, right? Now, that created a problem already in the team, right? And, excuse me, and we suffered because of those, and we suffered because of a stubbornness also. And people forget that how we lost finals, and how we won the league. I said we benefited a lot, The 29 game, yes, in the history of histories, it was a Sundowns 29 games and beaten, but those of us who live to see it, you will say like we could have long lost the game. People will say Maradona, the hand of God. Nobody cares. Argentina won the World Cup. Nobody cares, But those who have watched this, that was an injustice. So Rulani had his problems, right? And then we have this TD who is coming in and saying, guys, we need to make Sundowns a sustainable culture. You can't be bringing old players, and that clashes with Rulani, right? So now the question is, who do you choose between Rulani and the TD? It wasn't that Rulani was performing badly. I remember also Rulani came with baggage. He once beat a kid. That was bad PR for Sundowns, but then you're not there. Now, the team had to choose between Rulani and TD. And the TD has been brought to bring long-term sustainability. And at the time, in as much as I said Rulani deserved one more season because of what he has achieved on the field, I felt like it was the right decision to my guy, we can't find each other off the field, so it's best to go our separate ways, right? Now, with Fleming, directly with Fleming, like I said, I blame him for the co-coaching thing that he did, and
Mm.
secondly, he's being tasked with a huge task that people don't see. The Motsepe family, or Klopi probably, he say, my guy, Motsepe senior might die, and I'm not sure if maybe my relatives or whatever are so keen on throwing money at Sundowns, you know, and we know how PSL teams are run by debts, you know, and Sundowns probably has the highest debts. If we're to look at it, like, I'm not sure if my family will be able to continue spending more money post Motsepe, you know, and what he's saying is make this team sustainable. Hence, we started to see sponsors coming in, sponsors doing this. So he's saying, guys, long-term sustainability, so that Sundowns can be a self-sustaining team, you know. Now, the problem is it's a good idea, but the way he's doing it way too much and way too fast. It should be a 5-year, 10-year plan, and we should be transitioning into it. It shouldn't be a once-off thing, you know. And if you
But
look
then,
at it
Adrian,
again,
can I just jump in there just for time? But I'm going to let you answer. Can't we say that maybe management should have cut ties completely? Because I think part of the problem that's happening here is that Mangoba was there. So now the expectations that Mangoba has is because Mangoba was the coach there, he knows Sundowns, he does this. Meantime, your TD's coming in and trying to do something different, your owner's trying to do something different. Isn't the issue here that maybe it's either you stick to what was working completely or you change completely, and maybe there'd be a little bit of leeway if, let's say, it was a different coach, a new coach that came in?
you know spinning, heads or tail. You know heads or tail? What Sundowns is, what TD had was, what he has, I would say, heads, OT, you win, you lose, and tails are win. So either way, he was going to lose this bet because we played the race card. I saw the big platforms that I won't mention because of the platform. We saw saying this, that hey, even the Sundowns fans and even the South African people and the legends, that hey, that is gonna bring in a white person, and we play the race card, and it doesn't gonna work. Now he said, okay, guys, we're going through a storm. Let's not make the storm worse by bringing in a foreign coach, you know. And like I said, again, you can blame him for not being decisive because he's been paid the big bucks to be decisive. Or we can say, but he was trying to calm the storm a bit and say, guys, let's give benefit of the doubt, because I think from the get-go, he didn't trust Omangoba. And I think to some extent, he's been proven a bit right, that we can't trust Omangoba, you know? So I think, like I'm saying, in a nutshell, I think you look at all what is happening. Like I said, the decision to get rid of Rulani was justified. Not because of on field, because of off field, they couldn't find going different ways. And like I said in the group earlier, FFP is coming, whether we like it or not. In the next 10 years, 20 years, I think in my lifetime, we will see FFP. But will Sundowns be ready for FFP? Or it will then dilapidate and become another, what is this team? Newcastle's, the Leeds. They used to be very big teams, but once FFP came in, they went away, you know? So I think the decision to get off 1 minute. The decision to get rid of Urula, it was good 30 seconds. It was good, but the implementation of what is happening now is what is wrong. But I want fans to just say, guys, let's give this thing time and let's be calm, win or lose. Thank you.
Shembe, I want to speak about Mangoba's relationship with the players, Mangoba's relationship with the fans, Mangoba's relationship with management. How do you feel it's going for him? And do you think that maybe there's things that are following him from being demoted? There's maybe expectations that are coming from him being inside, and then now the players are also maybe looking at him snacks. How do you think that relationship is, and can he fix it? How does he fix it?
Yeah, Mr. Otsi, you know, I think these complex questions need complex solutions. We can't pinpoint it directly to one thing and say it's because of this thing that things are happening this way. I think we get to this point because there are many things happening one after the other that go wrong without being rectified. And I do think the relationship part of it is one aspect of it. I don't think it's the overarching theme that brings Sundowns where it is now, but it is one of the hands that have led us here. Because you know, Uflemingberg has clearly shown the Sundowns fans who would see he doesn't believe in the traditional style of the way we play. He clearly doesn't believe in it. And he just be listening, and he says, hey, this is the Sundowns way, this is the but the man that's been paid to do that job is telling us in our faces, Guti, I don't want this style of play. I don't want this, you know. And Kloppy shouldn't get drunk by Umlungu. He needs to ask himself then, what does this mean for Sundowns going forward? And they need to be transparent with us and let us know, we're changing the Sundowns play going forward. And this is what we envision. Bangavele Batule for us to come into the overthinking TikTok live and speculate amongst ourselves and go crazy trying to figure out actually what's going on. I don't know. I'm finding myself asking this question. Has Sundowns gotten better since Ukfika Uflemingberg no Kloppy? Has Sundowns gotten better with regards to recruitment? Have we gotten better with regards to playing style? Have we gotten better with regards to return on investment? And has Mangoba been selected because he's the much easier man to control versus a Rulani who's hard-headed, stubborn, stuck in his ways, wants to do things his way? I could never answer you directly, Glombuzo Wako, but I do think it's one of the reasons that Sundowns is playing the way it is. I firmly do believe that what we saw yesterday was a rebellion from the leadership core. The leadership core. Grant, Mudau. Plus Mudau is extremely emotional. Sambona Mibamkapa, where he throws his hands and when they try to picking up Angala, Atoga Machida, you can see that he's an emotional guy. Mokwena, we can see you saw Debza practically with a smirk during the press conference when Umangoba was speaking. You could see that this is not a man who's willing to protect his coach. This is a man who's clearly saying, so these players probably have a WhatsApp group where they're talking amongst each other. Would say, oh, or maybe they do feel like Mangoba betrayed Rulani by not fighting for him. There's so many hypothetical places that we can land because there's also a lack of transparency that's happening at Sundowns where they're not coming to us and Baschelo would see we want to change the philosophy going forward, guys, and we need you guys to be patient with us. Give us that 4 years Rulani was asking for.
Okay. Yeah, well, what's going to be interesting before I let TC come in? This is what's going to be interesting. Mokwena just signed new contracts. I think Williams has a new contract. Mokwena has a new contract. Some of that core, Zwane has been extended for a year, for example. Now, if you are Umangoba coming into this situation, I can't bench Mokwena. I can't bench Zwane clearly because people complained last time. I can't bench Williams, right? And I run the risk of people looking at me a certain way if I do those things.
He set himself up now, He has set himself up. He has set himself up to be in a bad... The situation is beyond Umangoba. Unfortunately, the situation is beyond Mangoba, and he was probably hoping would see. I mean, I can only imagine what Mangoba's wife was telling him at home, or if he is married, can't you want a baby? Like, when is it your chance? Like, Papa, in chance how? And he's finally feeling like, now is my time, regardless of what's happening in the background, regardless of what's happening in Sundowns. Now is my chance to be the guy, to be the main man.
But for time's sake, let me go to TC. TC, here we are. How do we feel about Mangoba? What do you feel about the relationships, the situations he's in? How do you contextualize this whole thing, man?
Well, I'll start with the relationships with the players. Umangoba is very different from Rulani in a sense that Rulani is a modern day coach. He walks onto the field after games. He hugs players, he writes love letters, he high-fives players, he gives them fantastic, passionate speeches before.
He protects them in public.
He protects them. Yeah, you know, even the criticism, he responds when people are criticizing his players, you know. And then you get Coach Mangoba, he's a bit more old school, you know. You can clearly see it's just a case of, hey, man, look, do your job, play football. I'm not interested in how you're feeling. I don't want you to take bullets for me. No. Do your job. And that really affects some of the players that came into like Mokwena, the guys who came when Rulani was there, in his prime at Sundowns, Rulani, they came into that lovable, friendly environment. And probably the environment is changing a bit. It's more business, it's more focused. There's not a lot of love. There's not a lot of stroking of egos and a stroking of characters. And you can clearly see it. You can clearly see it in some of the performances, some of the smirks, some of the stuff they're doing now. It's quite clear that they're missing the warmth that they had with Rulani.
Yeah.
And then, Coach Mangoba, talk about bad timing, eh? I don't think taking over Sundowns after the way they got rid of Coach Rulani was a good idea. For me personally, I think it needed a completely fresh approach, someone who was not there, someone who doesn't have any scarring or any of the past stuff. But he came into it because maybe, as someone has already said, he felt, it's my time. This is my time. This is my chance to come in. This is my time to show who I am and what I can do. But the timing is really wrong because the club is not in a good space right now, in my view. Off the field, we've got an SD who clearly has his own ideas. Whether we like them or not, he's going to implement.
Yeah.
And we can go jump in the Val River, the rest of us, because he's going to implement his ideas. And the coach now has to either fall in line or he's going to go away. And
So
I
then tell
think
me-
it's not good for the coach. Yes.
So then tell me, from management perspective, is the issue maybe that they're trying to hold on to two sides, and instead of just going with one, man, it's either you get rid of Kimang Lomlungu, or you allow him to then implement how he wants to, which means getting rid of Abo Coach Steve, Abo Mangoba. Some of the coaches are already leaving, some of the scouts have left, and all of those things have left. Maybe they should have just gone completely new start. Would that maybe make it a little bit easier?
I think, when Rulani left, I think they should have done that. The coach should have got the guy he wanted and the guy who would do exactly what he wants. Fine, to a certain degree, Mangoba will do most of the things that's clearly what the SD wants. Because it's a really funny or ironic how 2-3 seasons ago he was believing in a certain type of football, and today it's another type of football that he's showing us. So it's quite clear that there's been some conversations, and Umangoba's just being almost a yes man, unfortunately, even though he doesn't seem the type. But it seems like he's been made as a yes man, and ultimately he's going to be made a scapegoat. If things go south, he's going to be the scapegoat. Sundowns fans are going to be irate with him, saying he's the cause of our downfall. In a similar way how the Chiefs supporters blame Khompela for their downfall. It's going to probably be the same route where it's going to be Mangoba who destroyed Sundowns. He took a league-winning team and he ruined it. And it's slowly but surely heading there. And it's getting toxic, in my view. Like you can see in general, social media, it's getting a bit toxic already. And it's only 3 seasons in. So the management needs to make a decision. It's either they back the coach fully, get rid of the SD, back the coach fully, go back to the system that Pitso had implemented where the SD was just an SD. Your voice here is not needed. You are not part of this. Or Mangoba must go. The SD must get a guy who will do exactly what he wants, how he wants it, and when he wants it. Otherwise, we're just going to keep spinning like this for a very long time, rather.
Okay. Yeah, so guys, before I let Hansel finish off the first panel, guys, it's an interesting thing. Guys, I have a video on YouTube where I break all of this down. There's 2 clashing things, and I think that what we're not looking at is up at management. There's a lot of changes that are happening at Mamelodi Sundowns, and a lot of things that are being asked of coaches, and what's going to happen. After Mangoba leaves, you guys are going to be in the most interesting position because, again, it will be the first time where you don't have coaches that have been at Sundowns for 15 years, 10, 15 years. It's going to be the first time where the TD, who's only 2 years into the job, is now going to be in full control. Already signing players before coaches are announced. Already he's the one going out. People are leaving. So, Sundowns is in a very interesting place. Hansel, I'll tell you, Mangoba's relationship, I'm a player management. We want to man, Leon, Toguti, how they work, lap.
Mr. OT.
Yeah. Ingaguza.
Okay. For me, this thing, it looks tricky because it can either be double-sided. It's either they love Mangoba so much in a way where he's been there. Urlani left and came back Wamtola. Kompela left, came back Wamtola. So it's like Ena has been there for long than each and every coach. And most of the players that came, they found him there. You understand? So from me, the way I see it is either he's loved too much or they are just trying to get rid of him because they've been there for a very long time by setting him up, by giving him the position. Or okay, the only way that we can get rid of him is either we turn players against him or fans against him, because you know football is a game of fans. So that's how I see it. I don't think there is just one straight answer, because in football nowadays, especially nowadays, there's a lot that goes in behind the scenes. There's a lot that goes in the pitch, out of the pitch. So there's a lot. I can't just say it's one thing. And I think the relationship of him and the players now, it should have been one of the best, because a lot of the players, they were even there when Rulani was not there. You understand? If he was that, if he had emotional intelligence to an extent where he can win over players, he should have done that. And I think maybe because he's stubborn, I get it, as we only see players when they are in the pitch. We don't see them when they are training or during the whole week, right? So we can only talk about the things that we are seeing. And from what I have seen, I don't think Mangoba has the players in his corner.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I would bet that he doesn't have players. Even on the press conference, Mokwena was just minding his own business, even laughing when the coach was talking about golden arrows and winning the MTN. It's not like players are against him because they also want to win. You understand? It's not fun losing. They're trying, they're shooting from range, doing all those things. It's not like they were kicking the ball outside purposely. But you can tell or no, man, there's something that is off. The style of play, everything, you can say no. Things are not going according to the way they should be going for a team that have been dominant for the past 7 seasons or so.
If you were Mangoba, what would you do?
If I was Mangoba, I was just going to humble myself, change the system gradually, not just at the same time. I'm changing everything overnight. Rome was not built in one day. One step at a time, you change and get the proper players for the proper style that you want to play. Because all these players that they were getting, they are ball players. They are not players that you just kick the ball and then they run. Some of them, they can't even run 90 minutes or get a new conditioning coach, because the players, they are used to playing in a certain way. Now you want them to run for 90 minutes. They can't, because sometimes they need to cool off. They need to pass the ball around. Analyze and do all those kind of stuff. So I think it's there's a lot that needs to be fixed, and if they don't fix it, they'll end up being just another team that is no longer performing.
Okay, no, that's all. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to the first panel. Thank you to the guys in the comments. Guys, the comments will show up on YouTube, so they're on YouTube forever. Please don't swear. But the comments will be there streaming on that side. Okay, so we're on 23,000. Guys, if you have not followed, please follow. And then let's try get to 25. Let's try get to 30,000. Tap the screen. Shout out to the people watching on YouTube as well. Yeah. So as I was saying, guys, I think for me personally, if I was going to answer my own question, Mangoba has 2 places to go. It's either you humble yourself and you go back and you play the chameleon. If you saw that game towards the end, the chameleon started coming back, even though it was forced. Mashiku came out. Mudiba came back in. They started playing a different football. They started looking a little bit better, even in the first leg. It's either you humble yourself and you do that. But the problem is that Mangoba was already humbled before. He was already told that we are demoting you and we're going to put you on the bench with Rulani. So what does that do if now he does turn around and say, "Hi guys, I was wrong"? How would we look at him after that? Already, I think a lot of people speak about him, Karaki Keteka coach, man. They don't speak about him as the guy. So he already has to fight that, which is why I think he's picking being king, what do you call it, stubborn. Saying that, no, I'm going to play this football, no matter how does it look, no matter how these guys are going to play. And if he chooses that style, it means that he needs to go win. That's the only thing. You see, Nabi at Chiefs. Nabi needs to go win. Nobody's going to care that he doesn't have players and things like that. You're going to be judged that way. And if you move that way, you have to back it up with results. And maybe now, if he moves that way, he has to have the balls to say, guys, all those players that you guys loved, that have got new contracts, that maybe are not playing for me, I'm going to take them all out. He said in a press conference now, that he said in his press conference that no, guys, some of the star players, the big players are not coming to the party. What do you do then if those guys won't play for you? Right? You have to have the balls to take them out if you're going to go down that route. So I think that's a very interesting part of the conversation. But guys, for the next guys, I see that there's a lot of people. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 2 minutes to just speak about how you view the conversation. I'll probably ask you a question, then we'll just move on and carry on moving one at a time, because I see that there's a lot of people who are waiting to jump in. So let me look at who was here. Tabang was here. Tang. Okay, Jakaran. There we go. Willie. Tandini. Okay, let's Tabang, welcome to the show. How are you?
Okay.
Man, Kimnati. Tabang, I'm gonna give you 2 minutes, man. You can speak. I'm sorry. Kibona watu babangata. Mara kito rita interactor. Don't worry.
Okay, no problem. Firstly, I'd like to just speak regarding the interviews before the MTN8 started. So if you can see in the interviews that Mangoba had, you could tell that there was a certain level of arrogance, the way that he spoke, and the excitement that he had when he was speaking about the tactics and how Sundowns was going to play. So I don't think, as much as maybe the technical director or the management, the senior management was looking to change how the team is playing, I think Mangoba also believed in the same or had the same vision that the management had, which leads me to question. The guy has been there for the past I don't know how many years he's been there, but he's been working under or with coaches that believed so much in the shoeshine and piano football. So does it mean that he hasn't or he wasn't really a fan of the football that they were playing? So that's the big question that I'm actually asking myself right now. Then secondly, the guy is trying to change. If you check Sundowns, how Sundowns has been playing.
Sorry about that.
Sundowns has been Sundowns has been if you check season the last season, the most influence the most influential players were actually in the midfield, and Sundowns was actually stronger when it was going down the middle. If you check the mokwena, there is Alendo, there is Mshishi, and Shalulile profited a lot from the balls that the players in the midfield were playing. If you check Rulani Mokwena believe or had alternatives or contingencies in case where teams were stubborn enough to break. So that's why I think he recruited Bomasego, and if you check the way that he was using Morena as well, it was to also just try to break those stubborn defenses by maybe injecting some speed, but most of the influence was down the middle. So now, if you check the way Sundowns is playing, now you're saying that all these people, your Marcelo Allendes, your Mshishis, the ball players, the players who can play in very crowded areas, you know what, guys, take the balls down the flanks. And if you check how it has been playing, the wingers of Sundowns have been staying on the flanks. They haven't been tucking in as they were doing so last season. Mostly the people that were pushing was Mudiba last season, or Mudau down the right. But the wingers, the wing forwards would come narrower or closer to the goals, so that they create chances for Boshasha. Then Ribeiro, that's how he scored most of his goals, by coming inside and closer to the goals. So now you're saying these guys must stay out wide, create chances for this not so mobile striker or Sales. And how many goals can you actually score by throwing the ball into the box? That's like you putting it out there for everyone to challenge the ball. So that's another strategy. I don't think it will help Mamelodi Sundowns a great lot. I don't think it's going to help them, because they aren't going to score so many goals. We've seen it. They haven't scored any goal in the first 3 games of the season, first 3 competitive games of the season, apart from their own goal. And if you were following Sundowns through the preseason, you would tell they struggled a lot. But a lot of people don't pay attention to that. They don't pay attention to that, and that's usually a thing that, or I don't know, it kind of shows how your season is going to go. You understand?
I wanted to
So
ask.
that's where I'm at.
I wanted to ask very, very quickly. Isn't that part of the plan though? Because what we saw from Rulani towards the end of the season was a lot of crosses coming in from wide. He complained a little bit that he wanted Lars Veldwijk. He wanted a tall, a different profile of striker. Could we argue maybe that's where Sundowns was going anyway?
Yeah, you could say that, but with like that was part of the plan. That's why right now I could say that the senior management didn't believe that Rulani would change or would fulfill the objectives that they had. You understand? I feel like they made a rash decision by letting him go. The guy was probably getting closer or like trying to at least give them what they want. But now you're getting in a new head coach. New head coach means that there's a new ego. And again with Sundowns, you know, over the years, I'm still gonna say there was Pitso Mosimane and who's this? Rulani Mokwena didn't. If you check the kind of football that they play, they don't play the same kind of football. If you check the midfield of Pitso Mosimane, it was players who could play very long balls. If you check Mokwena and Allende, those players don't rarely switch the ball. You understand? So
okay.
With Rulani, I felt like he was okay. Maybe my strategy isn't working. Let me be open to what these people are saying. You understand?
For time's sake, I'm gonna have to jump in there, my brother. Sorry.
No stress.
For time's sake, let me go to Chakaranda. Chakaranda, how do you feel about this conversation we're having?
How are you, Mr. Uti?
I'm okay. I'm still on holiday, pal.
Yeah, you're still on holiday. You're cruising, eh?
I'm cruising
You're
very nicely.
You are not like us, 18, yes, Shisela.
Yeah.
It's Shisela, you know. But coming to the game, Mr. Uchi, I think, I just want to break it down into two parts, you know, talking about the coach and the team. You know, I don't want to go into the management. I don't know a lot what's going on, the decisions there. But the first part of it is the team, you know. I see a little bit of the players being sluggish, you know.
Yeah.
A lack of motivation, you know, lack of belief. I don't know whether they want to sabotage the coach or what. We're not sure of that. But also, you can say, are they struggling to adapt to fast-paced football? You know, you can ask those questions again. I think for me, it's those worries first. You know, when it comes to the team, because I want to see how are we going to play Friday when we're playing for Bafana. Because we have about 6 players. I don't count trainers. 6 players that are on the squad there. So I wanna see if the players are going to give us the same attitude that they're giving us from Sundowns, you know, to say now we can blame the players and say they didn't want to play for Mangoba, you know, or maybe it's the lack of motivation. And when it comes to the coach, I think the coach made a rash decision. I don't think it was necessary for him to change philosophy to say I want to play fast football and what because for me we have players that can play fast footballs, but they can also build, you know, because in order for you to take control of the game you need to be able to build, you know, even if you don't build from the back, but you need to be able to build, whether you are building from the side, inside, or the left or the right, but you need to start somewhere. So I think that is the problem that we face it at Sundowns now with the new style that Mangoba is introducing, is that we need to have where we are building, whether we're building with Mokwena, Alend, whoever, I don't know, you know, because I don't want to say it's Mangoba's style of play, you know, can go unnoticed. Maybe he's coming up with something. Maybe after 3 games in the league, we can be fire. And now we start saying, hey, Mangoba, hey, you see, now we are contradicting ourselves.
For time's sake, Chakara. For time's sake, I would have to jump in there. Thank you, Chakara. And apologies, I'm just seeing some people here. I want to see if I can let everybody in. Let me go to Temza. Temza, welcome to the show.
It's just how's it?
Man, Kim Nati Temza, Kieta.
abasitliwe ababethwe
Anataba ke khalerella.
ke khalerella uthi look I see this thing is so uthi this is a sign of bargain getting it's a clarity already the two coaches were not seeing football the same way.
Yeah.
Understand? So it shows already Mangoba was just there at Sundowns because maybe he was just getting paid but then if Nedetabaure he could get a better deal somewhere he would leave, or if he got a better team along where he feels where he can flourish somewhere, he would have long gone. You understand? Because if you look at, let's say, Pep Guardiola and Arteta, even though Arteta he has moved to another team, but then you can see where they see football the same way. The philosophy is the same. You understand? So I wonder what they were saying to each other whenever they were there, more benching, logo training. How were they working together? How were they advising each other? You understand? So him changing everything tells us what he was just there not working with Rulani. He was not working with Rulani. He was just there. This is a sign. So we should see that now Horiana now he wants to implement his things right now. He wants to show Horiana.
That's interesting, Debza. Can I ask then?
Okay.
I want to take a step a little bit higher. Okay. Management, are they letting these guys hang themselves, if that makes sense? Giving them enough rope and saying, guys, Rulani, we're putting you up today. Rakhonsa, we say it's not performance, even though Mangoba's coming in now, Rakhonsa, then we're going to do what we wanted.
Yeah, I think they are giving these guys a long rope to hang themselves, because you look at Sundowns. I always say, I like this type of management where they allow managers or coaches to demand whatever they demand, and then they'll be given that. You understand? So that they don't come here with excuses of saying I didn't have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Henceforth, hence I didn't succeed. You understand? So if you are being sacked because Sundowns about you just go out without saying any negative things, because you've been given everything. Just like what we said, Karulani, whenever they asked him about the CAF, and he always went west. Like we spoke with it. You look at that Sundowns here, Rulani. It's a totally different team to your coach Pitso. The only player that survived there was Themba Zwane. You understand? He was the only player there that survived. You can check the team. No one starting 11 Sarulani under Pitso. You understand? Now they give you these players that you say you want. Now it's time for the team to demand from you. Okay, now we've given you all the tools that you wanted. You said you want these tools for you to succeed. You understand? And you know where Renarinyaka as Sundowns. You want 1, 2, 3. So now you fail. Now Mangoba, they're gonna let him do whatever that he does. He wants this player, he doesn't want to play that player. I saw other new faces there. I don't know them. It means it's Mangoba's players.
Okay.
Hajiwa, it's him.
For time, Debza. And that's very interesting. And that's a very interesting point, Tore. What if, man, they're letting these guys go? What if they're going, you know what, Rulani, bring your lodge, bring your Kevin, bring those guys. We'll get rid of them one by one when you leave. We're going to let you feel important and let you die, basically. Mangoba, we're going to let you bring in faults. We're going to let you bring in Steve. We're going to let you want to change the style of play. Maybe they're setting it up. Maybe politics has finally entered Sundowns that way. Maybe management is starting to interfere with the field as much as other teams in the PSL. Maybe that's it. Guys, we've reached 25,000. Let's go to 30. Let's go to 35, guys. 128. Please, let's go. Nathan DeVries, thank you for the gifts. Let me go to Tlakan. Tlakan, welcome to the show. How are you?
What about you?
I'm good, my brother. What do you think about this conversation we're having?
Yeah, like what I want to say is, why fix it when it's not broken? Why? Why fix it when it's not broken? I mean, the team was playing the Chameleon last season. Bon, I was never a Sundowns. I'm not a Sundowns fan. Is what I'm trying to say. But the football was beautiful. Sundowns in a corner changer styles in any given minute. Rulani would change styles and always had the plan as our changer. But then you come in as a new coach and want to change the whole thing. Why change it? Can I reference something to Liverpool? Checker Arne Slot at Liverpool. He came in. There's an identity at Liverpool. You know, Hornelli, that what did he? Jurgen Klopp had this word that he used. I forgot the word, but then the heavy metal football.
Yeah,
he didn't change much. Arne Slot. Yes, the football is still there, but then let us now have a bit more control. Let us be a bit patient. Kill them with passes. That's what he says. But then you come in as a Mangoba and you want to change the whole thing. You're literally killing the team. That's my point of view.
Can I ask you, Khanye? You know, you had, for example, Coach Pitso, right? And I think the genius thing that Coach Pitso did, to be honest with you, is to say, I'm Coach Pitso, I'm a very good manager. I'm going to bring in the guy from Golden Arrows who plays the Bafana West End football. It's fast, it's skillful. It looks a little bit like Shushan in piano, high tempo Shushan in piano. I bring him in, I bring in Rulani, I put them under me. There's a balance there. Is the problem maybe that Sundowns is losing that balance? That now, for one season, it was the heavy tactics guy, modern football. The next season, we're going back to an old school guy. I saw a balance in that team. How do you feel about me saying that?
Well, I think Limo, I think they're now losing that balance. You know, that balance is gone. I don't know if maybe the TD was causing all of this. I don't know, but they're losing the balance because of Pitso. You can look at him as someone like a Jurgen Klopp, someone who came in and laid in the foundation and said, let's go this way. And then and then all of a sudden it's now changing. I think the balance it's gone, my brother. And for them to recover it, if they don't Babasa realize a bit early, it might be too late for them. And then the same things that's happening at Chiefs, that's happening at Man United. It takes time for you to recover. Look at Man United, they've been signing players, but it's not changing. It's going to take time. And for you to get that coach again, it's going to take a while again.
Yeah. Okay. Let me go to Ungwane. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm well, my brother. How are you?
Hey, man. I'm listening to people complaining, man. We're hearing complaints from Club for the first time. Tell me, how do you feel about this conversation we're having?
Hey, yeah, I think I share the same sentiments with all other guys, that have spoken even from the previous panel. Because what we see here, it's like someone new who's coming to Sundowns. There's no sign of succession, to say we're just continuing from what we had. It's like they've just brought in someone new who comes from a different environment, who was not part of the structure for the last about 12 years to 15 years.
Yeah.
It's like they coming with someone who's from another country, not even from South Africa, from another country, who has not been watching this team and who has not been watching Mamelodi Sundowns in particular.
Yeah.
Because tell me, because if we look at it from the tactical point of view, Sundowns used to play with a convected centre back like the likes of in the middle. I'll just talk about that point on. They will bring in about Rivaldo Kotsi to play there, or invent Mutiba to come inside, so that we can have a superiority in the centre. Now you decide to change that, or if Rivaldo Kotsi is injured and you want to keep Mutiba wide, then we have Mokwena playing as a hybrid 6 to come and collect and initiate play from the back for those long passes that are bypassing the press. And then you change that tactic. You bring in Allende. Did you see the moment when Allende was starting the play with the goalkeeper?
Yeah.
Since from when they start,
and we saw it once before. Versus ES Tunis, and he looked so uncomfortable. But anyway,
Yeah, I understand the guy is comfortable on the ball. He can protect the ball. But what I love Mina about Allende is his change of pace and moving the ball from a deep zone to link up with the attack. He's the one that normally links the defense with the attack because he's so good in protecting the ball and moving with the ball progressing with the ball from his up. But to play him deep in his own 18-yard box and initiate play so that he can attract those players. Now it means you don't have comfortable defenders with your Lebusa and also Gran Kekana, and you're pushing Mokwena far wide so that he can receive high. Because how they played is trying to play what we call 2-4-1-3 with Thembazwane remaining at the center and Thembazwane not joining during the time of a build-up because he was not joining, he was standing there at the center waiting for the ball to come. That is why he said some of the players are not giving him what he wants, but I think it's his tactics that are limiting his players to give him their best. Because if you just change how they play, because Mokwena was good in initiating play, linking up with Allende linking up with Thembazwane. Then you take now Abo Ribeiro, you play them far wide as right wingers, and then you've got you change each and every player from their a position which they are used to and which they are playing their best football in that position. Why are you changing something that is not? That is why I'm saying it's like he's acting like someone who was not even watching PSL or watching Mamelodi Sundowns in particular, because it's like he doesn't know what is the strength of Allende, what is the strength of Mokwena, what is the strength of Thembazwane, what is the strength of Shalulile. He's changing everyone from their positions, Can I
ask you something very quickly, Gwan? Can I ask you something? I want to ask you from the player's perspective. Is this maybe showing us how important the chameleon was at hiding certain weaknesses and amplifying certain strengths? And maybe we took for granted that as good as these players are, that system did a lot for them.
True. Because Mina, we said this. I still remember with you when you came back from a long break. When you came back, we said, "Why are you getting rid of Rulani?" Because whatever that he was doing, it was not about the type of play, the style of play. Remember, why do you have the style of play? You have a style of play so that you can get the result. And that style of play, if it's giving you a result, why are you changing it? Do you understand? So it was not about the style of play. It was about the clash of egos and clash of personalities. I would want to believe. Then now you then say, I don't want to be what we call, I don't know if I'm putting it right, to say the succession, to say I want to continue with what we're doing. You want to destroy everything and start something from the ground. And that is where they are going wrong. It's like Maprovelo Rulani point with your football was not working. This is the football that is going to give us result. But tell me, which football are you going to say is not working if you're going to lose one game in the league and you play all the finals, competitive final, and you lose with one goal and you pin back the biggest teams in Africa, pinning back experience, because even here in South Africa, they were pinned back. They won because of one chance. Tell me any coach who has ever done that, who made all these African giants team to be afraid of playing against. It's only Urulani. So that chameleon football, Sundowns was playing with pace again, because if you look, Urulani sometimes will change and bring in Abo Maseko. Maseko does not play static position. He plays fast. Yes, Abomren, and they will just move. Sometimes you'll see that, okay, we need speed. You will have Abo Maseko, we'll have Abo Lentosa, Abo Mrena coming to the party and injecting that pace. So
but I'm gonna have to jump in there, Gwan. I'm gonna have to jump in there, Gwan. Thank you so much. Nangela online. Yes, okay, 9 o'clock, guys. Lindo Pep show. That's where it will get a lot more tactical. Ngwane is in his element there. Let me go to Ash James. Ash James, welcome to the show. How are you, Ash?
Yeah, I'm okay, my brother. How are you?
I'm Nandi. Ash, what do you think about this conversation we're having?
Yeah, front page, you're overthinking football. Can Mangoba fix this?
So, basically, like I like to differ maybe like with the sentiments of other callers or other listeners. I think for the first 5 games, we can see 3 wins, 1 draw, and then 1 lose. That's my sentiments because
Yeah.
like what like I'm getting from like the players as they're saying with like the energy, it's like it's not there and it's like changing.
Oh,
Then
hang
the
on,
other
guys. Let's mute when we come
oh
in. Let's
sorry,
mute when we
is
come
that
in.
me?
No, no, no. It's not you. It's not you. Sorry about that. You can continue.
Oh, okay. So and then like the other part, I think Judy February, he's not the keeper that like our keeper sweeper because if you can check Ronwen Williams, I really need the player because like he understands ukuthi like mele badlale kanjani.
Yeah.
And then if you can check like the first game and then even the second game, they can't play from the back. It's either like ukekana umanu the February, then they decide to kick the ball up front. Whereas like when you kick the ball up front, you get players that like are not like aerial ball specialist. And then
Yeah.
Oshalulwe, it's like ngaphandle and then no one is fighting for the ball.
Yeah.
So manqoba naye like okunye la uyazidlisa ngabomu. Then coming to like formation. Yeah, the formation, I don't know what's like badlala formation because like it's bits and pieces from like everyone.
Yeah.
So if we can get maybe like says good like who wants to play where, and then that's why maybe Reyners is coming in. Maybe like the striker umanqoba's funayo, it's Reyners, not actually like Oshalulilo. Because sometimes like he's skeptical about Shalulile. Uyamkhipha uyamfaka, but like maybe they were waiting for Sales to get the work permit. That's why he started and Shalulile ahlala ngaphandle.
Yeah.
But actually like the players like at the back they are killing us. And then the panel said like ukuthi they are changing like the players. We can allow that if they change the players, but don't change the pattern. You can change the players, but don't change the pattern. If you're playing tiki-taka, the players understand tiki-taka because everyone was playing at Sundowns.
Yeah.
And then when you get in like starting 11, you know it's like I have to play Rulani's ball. And then Rulani's ball is this one.
Yeah.
So for like maybe Mangoba has been like from Sundowns with like long time ago.
Yeah.
And then we can't say like he doesn't understand the philosophy of Sundowns. So this defeat is hard to swallow.
Is maybe the issue also that like I said earlier, Mangoba is not getting time and he doesn't have the luxury of changing. I mean, Rulani and him could go from Onyango, who was goalkeeper of the year, CAF at some point, and bring in Williams. They could bring in those players that can play the football that I guess Rulani wanted. Is it maybe another issue that maybe Mangoba hasn't been allowed the chance to change those players?
It's just that like the pressure is too much. And like the first games, if maybe the first games were the league games, then we will have understand like we can allow him to change. But they can't throw you like first games, like League Cup.
Yeah.
Like, what's that? Yeah, the League Cup, because like M10 it's a League Cup. So you can't like be allowed to change. You have to follow this philosophy that was winning. The winning mentality, you follow it. And then after on the league game, you can like try and make your own like changes. But here, with like the first game we saw, we didn't score. It's an own goal.
Yeah.
We were playing like, So the second game also we didn't score. And then the tempo was high, but like sometimes you can see like when the Stellies they are pressing us, then we make mistakes at the back.
Okay.
So
for time's sake, sorry. For time's sake, I'm just gonna have to jump in there. Guys, 32,000. Let's try to get to 35, even 40. We're doing very well. If you have not followed, please follow. Shout out to Lulu the Boss Lady, Ray 19, Super Sfuba, Motaung ZA, Nathan DeFries. Thank you for the gifts on that side. And thank you to the guys in the comments. Okay, thank you for keeping it flowing that side. Your comments are showing up on YouTube. Let me go to Harry. Harry, Welcome to the show. How are you?
Sean, how's it?
And Kimnati Prairie or this situation that we're speaking about now.
Man, look, I think Sundowns made one big mistake. I think they're not a team that should be allowing a coach to change the philosophy or the style of play. You have won the league, you have set a new PSL record, you have played the final of the MTN 8, you have played the final of Nedbank, you have played the semi-final of CAF Champions League. If you are looking to change a coach, I don't agree with them letting go of Rulani, but if you are changing a coach, you should now dictate how the coach should play, because this thing works for you, right? So I think the first mistake they've done there is to get Mangoba in and say, Mangoba, is there a way that you want to play different from the one that Rulani was playing? Can you get your own technical team? And the guy goes, probably, I think he suggested to get Roman Falls in, and Pompela is back into the fold, and Lofman is out. So you can tell that they're trying to get rid of something that was working for something they're not sure of. Because if you are saying we want to win the Champions League, I mean, you went to the semifinals twice, and when I was looking, Sundowns has never played semifinal twice in a row. If my numbers are correct, so Rulani was getting closer, right? And they've never won the league so convincingly like they've done last season. So this means the style of play is okay. You just need a bit of touch-ups if there's something that you are really looking for. But in my view, to make the Champions League a deal breaker for me, it's greedy for a team like Mamelodi Sundowns when you've won it once, and even when you were winning it, you were beaten in the field of play. It is the rules that came and brought you back into the tournament. So to be fair, Sundowns has never played Champions League all the way to the final and win it. So that's not something you can make a deal breaker. But to have a coach that comes in and play 2 semi-finals in a row, that is a guy that you sit down with and say, listen, what do you want? Where can we improve? Is there anybody you want us to bring in? I think they've made a big mistake to let go of Rulani, and it's something that they are now going to pay. We've seen already now, Sundowns has played 3 games without scoring. And fans are not complaining about the results. They are complaining about the play because they can't recognize the team. They don't have a problem with the result. The play, we can't recognize the team. The players are playing far apart in the field. There are a lot of spaces. There's a lot of running, something that we are not used to at Sundowns. So I think that's where the anger comes from in relation to the fans. I mean, we've won, I think, 1 MTN 8 in 20 years or so. So the result is not really, we don't have luck in that tournament to tell the truth, but the style, we can't recognize the team. That's the biggest problem.
Okay. Thank you, Bahari. Let me pose this question to the comments. If Mangoba had won these past 2 games, are we having this conversation? So if the 3 chances they got, 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper in the first leg, the times that they hit the post now in the second leg, even Steve Barker said himself that, guys, they could have gotten back into this game if they took their chances. If he won these things, would we care about the style of play of the football, or would he have a little bit more room? Or is it because of the style of play completely? Just let me know there in the comments. Let me bring in the Sport. Sport, welcome to the show. How are you?
Sure, Bafit.
We want to Linda, Sport. How do you see it?
Yeah. I think let me start ngayo I don't think if Umangoba lama game winile ngabe sikhuluma ngale esikhuluma ngayo will be campaigning like this. Yeah, but other than that, I'll just pick few big coaches. I've been a downfall. You're my favorite player, not choosing good players, but having favorite players in their squad.
Yeah.
If you look at the guy coaching Manchester now, he lets goalkeeper of the season go because of being a favorite. Now he let Sanko go to Chelsea because it's not his favorite. But Shiawo Antony, I'm a player, and then you go to Klopp. Klopp, it downfall like it's where he had to choose between Mane and Salah, who's unfavored. Then when Mane left, Liverpool never get it right.
Yeah.
So now I'll come back to Sundowns. When Pitso left, I remember questioning this thing even some of ama sport pages ukuthi when Pitso left automatically umanqoba no rulani bathatha ukekane bambhentsha because I don't know if they wanted to prove a point who they are in charge or what. But when Manqoba and Rulani took over, first game until ukekane azange aphinda adlale, ekubeni the previous game under Pitso was a regular and was in control of his squad.
Yeah.
So that was when Manqoba and Rulani took over. Then later on, when Rulani took over, you mentioned it now, Mawushu Guti, wahamba Olanda William, while Onyango is the goalkeeper of the season and what. Because of Rulani, I wanted to be felt, I'm in charge. Now, regardless of someone is good or not good, but I'm in charge. This is dominance against I am. So Rulani came in, keeper defender of the season, Leke, keeper is came in. Just imagine. Keeper Onyango was changed that completely squad sake while my player work. Here is Manqoba now. You know I believe in Manqoba, and every time I call Manqoba, I always give defender. Mara from Izolo, listening to press briefing after the game when you say key players are not performing, nani. I was like, seems like Manqoba has got issues with Abozwane. How can you say key players were not performing when we took them out? That's where we play better.
Yeah.
On top of that, Umopida, that boy is comfortable with the ball. Why would you put Umopida Motiba benching? So most of these coaches, the issue is this: when you take over, instead of focusing on good players, you want to bring a discipline and put your players, not good players. Now you put your players of your choice. Like as I'm saying now, you go to the game, you push out Ulile ngaphandle mara you want to make sure Uti second game you win it.
Okay.
Which if you look at the game, the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes, they started playing because I believe Ahly they understand about Shaulile, Ahly they understand Bonabo Motiba, but no Manqoba because it's not coming with the philosophy sometimes. It's coming into the now I'll do it my way as much as they did when Pitso left. He wanted to do it but not according to how Sundowns play.
Okay. So I'm gonna have to jump in there. You make a very interesting point before I let you know, Gustavo. But I guess the counter argument is, you see Manqoba right now, he's walked into a team. Okay, he's been promoted in a team of players that are not his, that don't want him. I think Rulani had the same situation with Charlie. He had the same situation with a couple of people with Sundowns, but they gave him the freedom or the backing to be able to get rid of those guys, bring in his guys and play his football. So the other question I want to ask is, Rulani had 7 months to come to terms with what he wanted to do. So when October came and they said, okay, you're the new coach, from October to the end of the season, he got to look at this team and go, okay, Yazin, this guy I don't gel with him, that guy I don't gel with him, that guy I don't gel with him. Nzoba keeper. Onyango doesn't play my football. Keeper of the year, CAF, doesn't play my football. I'm going to get rid of him. And when he was given that chance to get his whole team in, we got almost an invincible season. So shouldn't Manqoba be given the same freedom? Because he's going to step into a place where maybe he wants to get rid of Debza, maybe he wants to get rid of Zwane, maybe he wants to get rid of all those people, because another thing is that if he benches them now and they're sitting right there, a lot of people are going to be complaining, how's Zwane, how's Banban? Meanwhile, Rulani did the same thing. So are we not being a little bit unfair to Rulani there, right? Rapid Ecstasy, Rulani changed everything. Guys, Rulani wasn't playing the diamond. You guys were complaining beginning of the season there was no diamond. He played his own thing, chameleon. He changed players. A lot of those players that are there come through with Rulani. So now when this guy wants to do his own thing, Manqoba, will you guys allow him to make the same type of changes? And it becomes even harder because some of these players have signed new contracts. But anyway, Gustavo, welcome to the show. How are you?
Sure. Oti, Fere.
Mangimnandi, Gustavo. Gustavo, how do you feel about this conversation?
It's tough. And I'll start somewhere.
Yeah.
I want to start here. Remember, there was you once made a live, and most of the guests came here and said, Manqoba was given a chance before, right? He was given a chance before, and we played positional football. And I mentioned in one of those lives that Mangoba was not coaching the team at that time. He was just there as a head coach to take the blame for a younger coach, Coach Rulani, coming in. You know, for a younger coach, Coach Rulani coming in. Coach Rulani was starting to experiment with the team, playing how he wants to play with the Dennis Onyango in his team.
Yeah.
But he saw that, okay, Dennis Onyango can play, can build out from a back, but to a certain level.
Yeah.
You know, he's pressable, he's very pressable. So let me get a goalkeeper who is not that pressable, who can play throughout the press. You know, let me improve. That's when they were like, okay, Coach Rulani, now we are giving you the reins. You're going to take full blame. Since you've been doing your thing, you have been auditioning, if you can put it like that, you've been auditioning.
Yeah.
Right, now let's put you in the hot seat. Coach Mangoba, go back to your original position now. The guy is in charge, let's let him do his thing. You know? So, there was an interview here, I think we played Super Sport, right? Sundowns played Super Sport. Mr. MC asked Rulani there a question. Rulani was like, we don't just build up for the fun of it. We don't just build up to look pretty or to look cool. You know, we build up with the purpose. And the team that comes out of the build up is the team that's most likely to score a goal. Right? So there's a team which will be pressing, like Stellenbosch did. They'll be pressing. If Stellenbosch, they win that ball, Stellenbosch are most likely to get the goal.
Yeah.
If Sundowns, they manage to play out of that press, Sundowns are most likely to get the goal.
Yeah.
Right. So what I'm not seeing from Coach Mangoba's team, and I hear people here saying Jody February cannot play with his feet, is not good with his feet. If you know the history of Jody February, you know he's very good on his feet. He can play. Not as the level of Williams, but he can play with his feet. So what we are seeing from Coach Mangoba's type of football is not trying to build out. There's no press there in front. Our forward players are not pressing. It totally changed everything. The quality has just dropped. You cannot have your Marcelo Allende wide, having your Tembas one so far apart. Your midfield is so far apart, but you want to play. If you want to play those long balls, put in players that can play those long balls. Both our centre backs cannot play those long balls. You have a player like Mvala. Mvala can play a long ball. You know, can play a long ball to the wing. And you can do your thing. But what he's doing, changing the style of play, it's a problem.
So should he be allowed to go get a defender that can do that? His own one.
Here's the thing, Oti. Here it's not like we are going from that's a positional football was not working. Positional football was not dominating. We have been dominating. How many games did Sundowns lose last season? The problem is people are thinking Sundowns is a high-scoring team. Sundowns, yes, earlier on during the season, whereby teams were trying to go pound for pound with Sundowns. Sundowns was scoring a lot of goals. They managed to win the AFL because the teams from Africa, they were not yet aware of what Sundowns can do. Right? Second half of the season, that's when teams started playing a low block. That's when we started struggling to score goals. You know, we're struggling to score goals from there on.
Yeah.
You know, so now Coach Mangoba was tasked here with the mission to, okay, we are struggling to score goals, right? We are struggling to win the CAF Champions League. We are struggling to win these finals, the MCN finals, the Nedbank Cup final. We are struggling. Find us a solution. Find us a solution to that. Don't try to change the whole thing now, because now you have changed the whole thing in trying to find a solution to scoring goals. No,
for time's sake.
Quick,
very quickly, one sentence.
Quickly. The positional football was working locally. It has been working and dominating each and every other team in the league, especially. You know, in the cups, it's dominating each and every other team. But in the final, we will still dominate Pirates, but they will manage to play against us.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. No, thank you, Scava. Sorry about that. For time's sake, let me bring you Tabang. Tabang, welcome. What do you have to say about this conversation?
Oh, team, brother, how's it?
I'm good and you, brother.
I'm not going to waste your time with your panel. I'm not going to waste your time. OT, there is a difference between a coach and a coach. They sound the same, but they might be different. Rulani was beyond a coach.
Yeah.
Rulani was not coaching the guys only when they play in the field. He coached them beyond the field. Rulani coached these players at home. Rulani make friends with this guy. Rulani was everything to these boys.
Yeah.
What I saw on Sunday, I saw people who are redundant, people who are angry. Look at the goal that was scored by Stellis, how they passed Tebogo. and he showed no remorse. He doesn't show anything.
Yeah.
And it shows that these players are still not happy regarding that. You cannot force people to play under a particular person, especially when they were used to winning ways. What Sundowns gave us on Sunday, man, I'm a back supporter. And I want to tell you something. These boys are not happy at all. And you cannot force them to play under someone and force them. Look at after the game. This guy is Fleming or whoever, this guy, he was waiting for all the players. All the players didn't come to him. They go behind and then until he met the coach of Stellis to show that they don't want this guy.
Yeah.
Here is not Europe. Here we understand that coach is the one that is in charge. Look at Stellis. Stellis, you can see that Steve Vaca is in control, is in charge. And the boys are playing for him. The boys will die for him. Look at the team. This team was the beating team every time. But when they get the identity, Stellis becomes something that is dangerous. You might be surprised that Stellis can win the league this year because Stellis have found themselves. They find the rhythm and they find who they are and they understand who is Steve Vaca. Now you are coming with someone. Mangoba, what is Mangoba? There is something big about Sundowns. Sundowns cannot be coached by Steve Compella. Steve Compella, all the teams that they have coached, they didn't have an identity.
Yeah.
Go and check from Free State Stars. He was just a normal coach, and you bring him to Sundowns for what? Sundowns is a big team, Joe. It's a big team, and it's a team that is used to winning. And now you cut off Rulani. Honestly speaking, I saw people were happy when Rulani was going, but for me, it was painful to see my black brother who did such exceptional job, a great job to win African champion. Look at Ahly. You cannot compare Sundowns to Ahly. Two teams, they invested differently. Ahly, they can lose anything, but now their supporters are spoiled. Hence, they don't believe in losing. You can lose the game, but in losing the game is where you are able to identify the mistake that you've made. But you cannot win all the games. This is what you call a sport. In sports, we win and we lose. So what is important, my brother, is that Rulani Mokwena is going to be missed, and these boys need a thorough counseling. Because now you are doing two groups. There is a group of Rulani Mokwena. There is a group of Mangoba. And I'm telling you, it's not going to be nice for Sundowns this season until they go back and take these people and give them a thorough counseling and make them understand why they have made Rulani to leave. And I'm telling you, Sundowns will come back and will bounce back. What they gave us on Sunday, there was no pressure, there was no press that Sundowns, there was no that winning mentality where you lose the ball in 2 seconds, they get it back. There was no something like that. It was just a normal team.
Sure. For time's sake, thank you, Tabang. Look, these are all interesting points, but this is what we said. Guys, we had episodes here where we spoke about the implications of Rulani leaving and the different things that can happen. I think for me, I feel like there's a little bit of unfairness that's happening with Mangoba. And then, I'm not going to defend him. He's also been hard-headed for no reason. But there's a little bit of unfairness. CJ, I just want to say this. I just want to say this. Doesn't this sound familiar, man? The owner's son is doing things to the team. The TD is signing players for the coach. The coach doesn't want. Yeah, there's there's internal promotions and demotions. The play doesn't match the players. They've even got a funeral plan.
The difference here is that the people we are talking about have made that club to be a business that is a multi-billion rand quarterly returns a year, with Sundowns going to a deficit with all this 7-year winning streak. But that's not what we are here for. We are here for football. Let's leave the business aspect aside. Chiefs business-wise are untouchable. A team that has not won a single trophy in 10 years and yet they still make more money than any team that has been dominant in the entire. Let's leave that aside. I'm here, my man. You know what, Mr. O team? If you watched Rulani last season, each and every time he loses, he would say to the media, "Umanqoba warned me that this is going to happen, and I did not listen to him."
Yeah.
Each and every time he would lose, he would say that when what is this guy? When Umbule was on some Benny Hinn service, falling all over the place because of Utito, Umangoba did warn that that's going to happen. So he's got the football brain that I think, for me, answered the questions of why that were brought to Rulani, and Rulani could not give answers to. You said something, I think, yesterday, that you win the league when you turn loses to draws and draws to wins. And the biggest question and a lot of wins that Sundowns had was, if the ref did not give this as a offside to Pirates, you could have lost this game. You realize that you did not win it because you did not get this draw because you are a good coach or you are dominant. You got this draw because the ref disallowed a clear goal. And you won this game, not because you are the best team, but because the ref turned his blind eye on this clear offside and Tempazwane scored the goal. And I think those questions had to be asked clearly and critically with Rulani. Now, this season, and I think the biggest question is, are we going to be as lucky as we were?
Yeah.
Because you have to ask yourself, why didn't we win the MTN 8 last season? Why didn't we win the Cullen Black label? Why didn't we win the Nedbank Cup?
Yeah.
And those questions had to be very clear. And how did we reach semifinals? How did we even reach semifinals? By a disallowed clear goal. So you can't come here and say that we are dominant. And I think, and I agree with you, Mangoba needs to be given the same platform that Rulani was given and the same protection. And I hear Sundowns fans are putting pressure for 57 people. If Sundowns fans don't go to the game, who's going to lose? The state, they're not going to make any revenue. That's why 202. That's why even SuperSport doesn't play them on 202. SuperSport would rather take a Sundowns game and play it on 209 and put a Pirates game on 202. Do you know why? Because they realize that it's not that a lot of people are going to be watching. So you can't come here and tell us that they're going to put pressure from the fans. What fans? 57 people. Speaker, Herman Guardian, he let bread like a Mercedes Benz.
Oh, guys, okay, guys. Thank you, Abara, guys. No, guys, I've got a minute. Lindo Pep show is going to start now at 10 o'clock. So I'm going to respect it. Makuzo, you must be quick as a member.
Mr. OT, there's a certain player who was unhappy at the end of the season for Sundowns last season.
Yeah.
And there's another one who said he signed blah, blah, blah because of Coach Rulani.
Yeah.
And that very same team lost towards the end of the season. They lost back-to-back against Esperance. They lost against Pirates. They lost against Cape Town City and got a lucky draw against TS Galaxy. This team has been on a bad run for some time, including with Coach Rulani.
Yeah.
Let's not come and blame things on Coach Mangoba. Mokwena has been angry since second half of the season. I think he wasn't playing
with the contract as well.
Yeah, a good chunk of games he wasn't playing. He only played later on. So let's not create stories here and say it's Coach Mangoba. This thing has been going on for some time. Thank you,
For
Mr.
time. Guys, 9 o'clock. Guys, look, I'm going to end it like this. There's a lot of things that are at play here. And I think Mangoba finds himself at the center of a storm. I think this is what happens when a team is in crisis and you step in. Happened to Kevin Johnson. It's happened to I'm forgetting his name, one before Kevin Johnson. It's happened to so many people, right? So this is not new. It's just that you guys are just new to this thing. It's more the Tina that are suffering. I think Mangoba's making mistakes by trying to implement a completely new thing off of the bat. I think he's also making a mistake by not getting the players on his side because he's not going to have the time to be able to move out players. Guys, Getting rid of Abu Tembazwane, Abu Mokwena, and those guys wouldn't be anything new. We saw it with Abu Onyango, we've seen it with Abu Chali, and that allowed your Rulani to play the way that Rulani played, right? To implement what he wanted to implement. So that's why I'm like, let's not all jump in and jump the gun too much. There's so much happening. Yes, Mulifinteki. There's so much happening at Sundowns right now. There's a technical director who's only been at Sundowns for 2 years. Does he know what Shushan and piano is? There's a coach who was demoted, who is then promoted. How do the players look at a demoted, promoted guy? How do the fans look at a demoted, promoted guy? I had a show where I asked you guys last year. It feels like you guys don't feel umangoba nje. You've got players who are now on strike who've signed contracts. Tebogo Mokwena has signed a new contract right now. Williams has signed a new contract. Tembazwane has signed a new contract based off of what they thought was going to happen with Turulan. How does that play into all of this? These are the questions that we need to be asking. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. 43,000 views. Thank you so much. Thank you to MK, Lenkosi, Malume Kutso, Moshikaro, TikTok Blesser, Lulu the Boss Lady, Ray 19, Super West Fuga, Maptown, ZA, and Nathan DeFries for the gifts on that side. Thank you so much for everybody in the comments. Thank you to those who contributed towards this 43,000 likes that we have. Guys, we have a WhatsApp group, an official WhatsApp group, where we speak a lot about these things in more depth. For Malume Kutso, for Agent, a lot of the people that you heard today, a lot of the people that you didn't hear today are on that group. If you want to join, go to YouTube, click on subscribe, click on join, and you'll gain access to the WhatsApp group. We'll be able to talk at any time. You can send a message at 2 a.m. Somebody will answer you. It's been amazing, guys. Lindo Pep, at Lindo Pep, his show has started right now. So head on over to his side. That's more of a tactical breakdown. Tactics. You can go that side to go check him out. The show is on every Monday to Thursday at 7 p.m. Then we do watch-alongs of Sundowns, Pirates, Chiefs, or any other big games like Bafana, Banyana, and other games. And then I also do my own content. A lot of the Sundowns talk that we're having, I spoke about weeks ago. So please check out the videos. It will tell you a lot about the situation at Mamelodi Sundowns and also where the club finds itself right now. Guys, it's been amazing. I'll see you tomorrow at 7. Bye, everyone.